Queremos saludar por acá a todos los lectores y promotores de la red del Banco de la República y de Bibliored, que sé que los veo por ahí en los comentarios y que nos están escuchando. Un saludo a todos y felicitaciones por el esfuerzo que hacen de mantener las bibliotecas vivas. Nuestro siguiente invitado no está acá en vivo y en directo porque vive en Australia, en Melbourne, para ser más específicos, y eso significa que está a 15 horas de distancia de nosotros, lo cual era un poco imposible cuadrar un horario para que estuviera en vivo con nosotros. Motivo por el cual hicimos un video en el que él habla un poco, primero, una entrevista sobre sus libros. Se trata de Glenn Melenhorst. Él es un australiano, dirige un estudio de efectos visuales en Australia. Ha hecho la animación de películas como Bob Esponja, Winnie the Pooh, que posiblemente han visto ustedes. También hace efectos especiales para películas y series de televisión, como Juegos de Tronos, por el cual ganó un premio Emmy. Pero también es ilustrador y hace sus libros. Y el motivo por el cual quisimos tener sus libros en Mákina es porque eran libros animados, interactivos y que se prestaban muy bien para este escenario del libro digital. Son libros hechos para ese propósito. Entonces, la primera parte del video es una entrevista que yo le hago a él, preguntándole sobre su proceso creativo. Y la segunda parte, él va a leer las primeras páginas de El Señor Ratón y el Señor Elefante, y luego las primeras páginas del libro Rebanada de pan va a la playa. ¿Listo? Entonces, sin más preámbulos, espero que salga bien la transmisión de este video.
Everybody in North and South America. My name is Glenn Melenhorst, and I'm an animator and an illustrator and an author from Melbourne in Australia.
Can you please tell us a bit about the work you've done as an animator, but also about first about that, and then then we'll enter about your books. First about your work as an animator.
Okay. Well, I work as a visual effects supervisor, which means I work in the movie industry and I do animation for movies. So some of the characters you might have seen that I've animated are characters like SpongeBob SquarePants or the Minions or Ted or Winnie the Pooh. Those kind of characters, if you've seen them in a movie, chances are I've had a little bit to do with it. As well as that, we do films, TV shows like Game of Thrones I've worked on, things like that, some superhero films. I do all sorts of animation for all sorts of things. As well as that, in my spare time, I like to write and illustrate books for children, as well as write screenplays for children. And so I've been lucky enough to have several books published, and I'm totally thrilled that they're going to find a new audience now in a new language and in a new country, which is absolutely fantastic.
Okay, how about you tell us a bit about where the story of Mr. Elephant and Mr. Mouse came from? Why did you come up with these characters? And yeah. You're so sweet.
Well, let me think about it. I think when I started thinking about Mr. Elephant and Mr. Mouse, I was always wondering what it must be like to live a life with a name that doesn't suit you. What's it like to have a name that maybe means another funny word or a funny phrase or something or a name that doesn't ever feel right? And I wondered what it must be like to be an animal with the wrong name. I don't know how they got their wrong names, but they just did, and it seemed like a funny idea. So I started thinking about firstly about the little support group for animals that have funny names, and trying to think about the kind of difficult situations they might come across when everybody sees a tiny little creature, but they hear it, the little creature's name is Mr. Alligator. What must they think about that creature before they meet him or her? So, you know, it just seemed like a funny idea, and from that I invented the characters of Mr. Elephant and Mr. Mouse, and wanted to sort of think about that idea that maybe if they got what they wanted, which was to change their names and become who they truly are, what would it be like? Would they be happy with that? Or have they had their funny names for so long and been so completely used to it that they miss the things? They miss the things that are weird about having a strange name or having something slightly odd. And ultimately, I think if you read the book, you'll see what they do about it at the end.
For me, it's when I read about your profile and saw that you were an animator, it seems that it's very interesting or perhaps very natural that you moved or experimented very early, because these books were originally published in the App Store about 4 years ago, that you quite early moved into this idea of having animated children's books, because that's also who you are. So
yeah.
How do you see that?
Well, I think as an illustrator and an animator, doing children's books has been something I've always wanted to do. And so when interactive books started appearing, when I had my own children and they were very small, the very first interactive books came out, and you could click on things and they did a little sound or made a movement, but nothing really amazing happened. They were a little limited. And so when the App Store came out, and when Google Play came out, and these programs started to emerge that allowed you to animate more and explore more ideas in interactivity in books, totally got me excited, because being an animator, that's just terrific. It really takes the things I love, which is storytelling and animation and sort of children's literature, really put them all together in one spot. So for me, it was a perfect fit, and something I really got excited about, which was great. My first book that I published was just a print book. And so what it was really nice was to be able to take that book and reimagine it and put some interactivity into it, and then publish it on the App Store and give it a new home and a new life, which was great. But Mr. Elephant, Mr. Mouse, and Slice of Bread Goes to the Beach, those books were written specifically for the App Stores to have those kind of interactions as part of the story. And I really think that trying to have interactions that help move the story forward, that tell a little idea or expand on the character, are really important, rather than just something that just moves or just, you know, makes a noise. Although there's some of that in there. Yes, I think so. I think just to take a story and write it like a story, and then work out what the interactions are going to be later, is you know, is like you say, it's something that we've done in the past, but I think now we can start really looking at this idea of making the interactivity compel the story, to move it forward, to tell some other ideas. There's some great things you can do where the person reading the book can actually change the story, or inform the story, or find out more about a character that's not necessarily written in the text, but is in the interactivity of it. So there's lots of things to still explore, and lots that is still to do with interactive books, for sure.
Can you tell us a bit about Slice of Bread? I think it's quite hilarious, and just tell us a bit about that one, please.
Well, yeah, I think Slice of Bread Goes to the Beach. I just wanted to have a little guy that just had a bad day. I just think that a little guy who is a positive little person who just has the world's kind of against him. And I think, I don't know why I thought of it, but I think a little piece of bread on the beach just sounds like it's going to get in trouble. There's seagulls that want to eat it. It could get wet. It could get toasted. It can, all sorts of bad things can happen. So it was a bit of, it's a little bit dumb, but it was still fun. And so obviously he's a treasure hunter, and he's looking for treasure, and he thinks treasure is gold or a ring or something that someone has lost in the sand. But really what the treasure is in the book is the friends that he makes, one friend in particular. And a nice little thing I put in, which always I think is funny, is that he's got one sandal and he's trying to find the other one. And the girl he meets has got the other sandal and she's looking for the other one, but they don't realize they've got the same pair of shoes, but just a left and a right one, you know, and they never put that together. I think they mustn't have thought very hard about it. So yeah, it's just about a little guy's bad day turning into a happy day, basically. All right, so Mr. Elephant and Mr. Mouse by Melenhorst. You've probably heard all about Mr. Tortoise and Mr. Bear, and heard a lot of stories about Mr. Wolf. But I don't think you've ever met Mr. Mouse or Mr. Elephant. They were both members of Snafu, and they met each Tuesday to talk about their troubles. The first speaker was Mr. Elephant. Hello, I'm Mr. Elephant, and I'm unhappy with my name. Hello, Mr. Elephant, the other animals said. I work at the fire station, and when we rush off to an emergency, I nearly get squashed on the fire truck, Mr. Elephant said sadly. And that never fits. And my hat never fits. Hang on. And my hat never fits. I try to lend a hand, but nothing I do seems to help. Is that all right? Do you want to do the next character? I'll do a little bit Mr. Mouse and I'll stop.
Okay.
The next speaker was Mr. Mouse. I'm Mr. Mouse, and I don't like my name either, he said glumly. Hello, Mr. Mouse, the other animals said. I work with the mice at the library, but I always knock things over, and I make noises when I sneeze. I also have trouble booking a table for dinner, he added, and I get a lot of cheese for my birthday. Slice of Bread Goes to the Beach by Melenhorst. Slice of Bread liked to hunt for treasure, but he only ever found junk. I found a nice red sandal, but only one. Just my dumb luck, grumped Slice of Bread. But that didn't stop him trying. Saturday was Slice of Bread's treasure hunting day. Perhaps today I'll find another sandal, he thought. So he packed his treasure-seeking gear and drove down to the beach. This looks like a good spot, he said, sure that today was his lucky day. So Slice of Bread began to dig. Nope, nope, and nope, he said, getting more and more frustrated. He was just about to give up when a big wave splashed in and filled the hole with seawater. Boy, that was dangerous, and now I'm all soggy. Just my dumb luck, grumped Slice of Bread. So Slice of Bread lay on his towel to dry off. He dried his back and his front. Then Slice of Bread dug for hours in the hot sun.
I'm very curious about your studio, because I see a lot of, I don't know if you could just like tell us a bit about your house, your studio, and these things that we're seeing back there.
Okay, so this is my office at home. Obviously, I'm working from home at the moment, and really, this is just a whole bunch of books. There's lots of books on animation. There's lots of books on directing film, and lots of books on illustration. A whole bunch of Miyazaki books, which I love. I've got, I think you can see, I've got little things from movies all over the place that I've worked on. Things like SpongeBob here. I've got a poster up here for SpongeBob, and there's characters from films I like, not necessarily films I worked on, but just things that I've liked over the years. This is the first book I wrote, which was called Little Boys, and then got called something else when it was digital. And then I have the sock monster, which my wife, who's an illustrator, illustrated and I wrote. So this is another book. This was the second book that we made as a print book together. So I have those two there. They're very precious. And some awards. There's a Emmy Award for Game of Thrones. So that's there on my desk. And then apart from that, it's photos of my children. I have triplet boys. And so I have lots of photos of them everywhere and memories and things like that. So yeah, pretty much that's what I have here.
So
Excellent.
thank you.
My
Enjoy
pleasure.
your day.
Thank you. Contact me if there's anything else I can do for you, of course. And I'm happy to jump back on call. Very nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you too. Bye-bye.
Yeah, best of luck. Bye-bye.
Thanks.